This isn't checkers, this is chess. And in chess, you don't move fast, you move right. You don't act, you think. You don't just react, you calculate. Because in this game, every decision you make is a piece on the board of life. And every piece, it costs something. Your time, your energy, your focus, your future. So the question isn't if you'll move. The question is, will your next move be your best move? Will you move with purpose or with pressure? Will you move with vision or out of fear? Will you lead the game or get played by it? Because this isn't about speed. This is about legacy. And every move from here on out tells the world who you really are. In chess, the first few moves don't look like much. They're quiet, subtle, almost invincible to the untrained eye. But to the one who understands the game, those first moves are everything. They set the tempo, they create the structure. They determine whether you're playing offense or defense for the rest of the game. Life is no different. The things you do when no one's watching, those are your opening moves. The way you wake up in the morning, the books you read, the food you eat, the time you waste, or the time you invest. These aren't random habits. They're strategic positioning. People want the glory of the win, but they skip the opening. They want the crown, but they avoid preparation. But a king isn't made in the spotlight. He's made in the dark. When he chooses consistency over comfort, discipline over distraction, structure over chaos. You don't have to move fast in the beginning, but you do have to move intentionally. Build your base, strengthen your position, learn the board, study the players, master the rules. Because once the game heats up, you won't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. If your foundation is weak, your game collapses early. But if you build it right, brick by brick, choice by choice, move by move, then no matter what life throws at you, you'll be ready. The world won't always see your foundation, but trust me, it will feel it. When the pressure rises, that solid ground beneath your feet, that's what will keep you standing. The middle is where it gets messy. The opening is over. The routine is set. And now you're in the chaos. Distractions, temptation, pressure from every single angle. People talking, expectations rising, the pace quickens, and most people crack. Not because they don't have potential, but because they don't have a plan. This is the part of life where the game starts to push back. You've made opening moves, and now the world responds. Obstacles appear, doubt creeps in. You'll be tempted to react, to move emotionally, to trade long-term vision for short-term relief. But this is where strategy separates the great from the good. A master doesn't just play the moment, he plays the sequence. He sees the trap 5 steps ahead. He watches others fold under pressure, not with arrogance, but with awareness. Because he knows what they don't. This game isn't won by emotion, it's won by calculation. You gotta pause, breathe, zoom out, look at the full board of your life. Your habits, your relationships, your energy, your time. What's draining you? What's feeding you? What's pushing you forward? And what's holding you back? In the mid-game, you'll have to make sacrifices. Comfort, what's familiar, sometimes even people. You might have to give up the pawn of popularity to protect the queen of your purpose. The key is to stop moving just to feel busy. Stop chasing every shiny object. Stop reacting every time life makes a move. Instead, respond with vision. Every move must mean something. In the middle, mistakes are costly, but hesitation is worse. You need to be sharp, focused, and grounded. And most importantly, you've got to think ahead, not just about where you are now, but about where this path is really taking you. This is where most people lose the game. But if you stay focused, if you stay strategic, this is also where you position yourself to win. Not every piece moves the same. In chess, like in life, every piece has its own purpose, its own strengths, its own limitations. The pawn is the smallest piece on the board. It moves one square at a time, slow, limited, and often overlooked. It doesn't have range, it doesn't have power, but it has something greater. Potential. The pawn is a symbol of the everyday warrior, the one who doesn't start with status, but shows up anyway, who takes the long road, not because it's easy, but because it's the only way forward. While others make bold moves and claim center stage, the pawn stays focused. It advances quietly, deliberately, through chaos, through danger, through sacrifice. And if it keeps pushing square by square and it survives the battles, it reaches the other side. And when it gets there, it transforms. It doesn't stay small. It becomes the most powerful piece on the board, not because of luck, but because of grit. The pawn teaches us this. It doesn't matter how you start. It matters how far you're willing to go. Stay focused, stay humble, stay moving forward. Because even the smallest piece can become anything. The knight jumps with style, unpredictable, unique, while other pieces follow straight lines and simple paths. The knight bends the rules. It moves in L shapes, 2 forward, 1 to the side. It leaps over obstacles, surprises opponents, and strikes from angles no one saw coming. The gift of the knight, it doesn't just move, it surprises. It plays a different game. While the rest of the board is bound to clear, direct movements, the knight breaks pattern. It doesn't fit the mold, and that's its power. In life, some people are built like knights. Don't walk on a straight path. Their journey doesn't look normal. They've got setbacks, detours, unexpected twists, but still they move. And more than that, they outmaneuver. The knight is proof that you don't have to move like everyone else to win. You don't have to follow their path, their timeline, or their rules. Your uniqueness is your weapon. Your ability to think differently, act differently, and move differently. That's what sets you apart. And here's what makes the knight special. It doesn't need a clear road. It doesn't need permission. It jumps over obstacles. It defies limitations. So if you're the type of person who always felt out of place, if your path hasn't never been a straight line, if you had to figure out while others had it laid out for them, don't shrink back, lean into it. You're the knight on the board. And while they're playing by the book, you're playing by instinct. While they're waiting for an open lane, you're already making your next leap. The bishop glides across the board at sharp angles, always diagonally, always cutting through complexity. It doesn't go straight, it sees beyond. The bishop is a visionary, seeing lanes that others miss. While everyone else is caught up in the obvious, the bishop is thinking in slants, finding the hidden pathways. In life, some people aren't just meant to follow the main road. They're wired to move differently, to see what others overlook. Their value is in their vision, their ability to cut through distractions and move in alignment with purpose. The bishop reminds us, sometimes the straight path isn't the strongest. Sometimes the edge holds the key. The queen is the most powerful piece on the board. Fast, fluid, fierce. She moves in any direction as far as she wants. She's not limited by one path. She commands the board. But her power isn't just in how she moves. It's in when she moves. The queen is patient. She waits for the right moment, then strikes with precision. In life, true power doesn't scream. It doesn't rush. It watches, waits, then acts with impact. The queen's lesson: you don't have to force power. You just have to own it. Move with confidence, not for attention, but for results. That's the queen's energy. The king doesn't move far, just one square at a time. But don't mistake that for weakness, because the king is the reason for the game. The mission, the purpose, every strategy, every sacrifice, it all revolves around protecting the king. In life, your king is your why, your values, your vision. The part that must be protected, not because it's fragile, but because it's foundational. Lose your king, you lose everything. So know what you stand for. Know what's worth fighting for. And never, ever trade your crown for comfort. You've got to know who you are in this game. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's. Just because they're ahead on the board doesn't mean they're winning. Just because they're louder doesn't mean they're smarter. You don't need to broadcast every move. Real power is quiet. Real value is strategic. You've got to ask yourself, what do I bring to the table that no one else can? What is my advantage? What is my unique move? My mindset, my gift, my angle? In chess, every piece is protected according to its value. And yet in life, we give away our time, our peace, our energy like it's nothing. You've got to guard your mind like it's your queen. Guard your purpose like it's your king. Because not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone deserves access. Some people will try to trick you out your position. They'll offer you fast fame, shallow validation, temporary pleasure, but don't even trade a crown for a quick win. Don't sacrifice your self-worth to fit in someone else's game. The true masters, they don't move to impress. They move to advance. They know what they're worth, and they never negotiate their value for approval. In this life, you gotta remember, you're not just a piece on someone else's board. You are the player. You know your value, and you move like it. When the board gets quiet, when the flashy moves are gone, and only a few pieces remain, that's when it matters most. This is the end game, where all the noise fades, and the truth of your discipline, your decisions, your mindset is revealed. No more bluffing, no more buying time. You can't fake strategy when the board is nearly empty. It's just you, your preparation, the weight of every move you've made until now. The openings, they got you here. The mid-game, it tested you. The end defines you. This is the legacy mode. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. Not about how fast you move, but how precise you are. Because in the end game, a single wrong move could cost you everything. But don't let that shake you. Let it shape in you. Because you've made it this far, through the chaos, through the pressure, through the sacrifices. You are no longer the same player you were at the start. You've earned your scars. You've learned patience. You've made tough calls. And now, every move you make carries power, purpose, and presence. In life, just like in chess, most people don't lose because they never had a chance. They lose because they let up too soon. They coast, they get comfortable, they stop playing to win and start playing not to lose. But not you. You didn't come this far to coast. You didn't endure all that pain just to play small now. You came to finish strong. You came to close with power, with clarity, and with legacy. So breathe, lock in, and make every final move count. Because when the board is clear, When the game is nearly done, the world doesn't remember who started strong. It remembers who finished like a master. This isn't checkers, this is chess. And real masters don't chase moves, they own them. So stand tall, dig deep, look the board in the eye, and make your next move your best move. If you want to know how to get out of that mental prison that you're stuck in, watch this video on the screen.